Up first this evening, Philip Brown, the construction worker who a year ago killed his ex-girlfriend at Crystal Towers on Old Hope Road in St. Andrew, was today sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Mr. Brown was among a number of persons who took advantage of a Ministry of Justice initiative to get reduced sentences if they plead guilty to their crimes.
The initiative is part of efforts to move cases quickly through the courts, but the families of the victims are not all happy with the sentences handed down.
We'll have that story later, but before that, TVJ's Anthony Lugg tells us what happened in court today.
It was a busy day in court 2 at the Home Circuit Court downtown Kingston on Friday. 14 accused on the sentence reduction list, including 36-year-old Philip Brown. If you do not remember who he is, Mr. Brown was the man charged for the murder of his common-law wife, Kerry-Ann Wilson, after he was caught trying to dump her body, which was wrapped in a tarpaulin in a gully bordering her Crystal Towers apartment along Old Hope Road in St. Andrew on December 10 last year. Mr. Brown, who took advantage of the Justice Ministry's sentence reduction day, was sentenced to 15 years in prison and will have to serve 10 years before he's eligible for parole. We caught up with his attorney, Anthony Williams, to get his reaction to the ruling.
It is a good practical example of the sentence reduction system, because if the sentence reduction system was not implemented, then it means that persons who, based on the particular circumstance of their case, who knew that they could not advance a plausible defense, then they would be wasting the court's time.
Reports indicated that at the time, the deceased, who was pregnant and also the mother of Mr. Brown's daughter, was beaten to death in her sleep after he accused her of cheating. His attorney in his closing statements argued that though his client caused trauma to her family, the matter was one of love gone bad and asked that his client get psychiatric help. But in handing down his ruling, Justice Martin Gale, while acknowledging the guilty plea, said Mr. Brown should have displayed self-control, as now a child is without a mother and the father will also be absent. We asked his attorney about his client's reaction.
He did mention about the fact that, he loves his daughter, and also that he will certainly miss that one-on-one daddy-daughter affection. And that was one of the reasons why I asked the court that despite the fact that it was a heinous crime, the relationship of daddy-daughter still exists, and the sentence should give him that rehabilitation process to allow him to reunite with his daughter.
Also in court on Friday, 49-year-old Lorna Williamson, who was charged with stealing a day-old baby from the University Hospital of the West Indies last December, was sentenced to 3 years probation with psychiatric counseling over the period. Ms. Williamson, a medical assistant, was found with the stolen baby a day after an alarm was made. She told investigators she wanted to present the child to her boyfriend after having a miscarriage. Another person receiving a reduced sentence after pleading guilty is 23-year-old Keno Gilzine. Mr. Gilzine, who faced a manslaughter charge for reportedly stabbing 22-year-old Sudine Jackson several times before using a stone to bash her face, will serve 7 years in prison. He's also been ordered to receive psychiatric treatment while in custody. Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.